All right, guys, welcome back to our Premier League predictions video. It's always happens every single year. Premier League is back on this Saturday morning in Australia. And yeah, what better way to start off this Premier League campaign, this another season with our Premier League predictions for the 24-25 season. First of all, we'll start off with the relegation battle. We've got three new promoted teams, Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester City. So we'll start off with 20th to 18th.
So for me, I think we've went the same for the relegation spot, but in sort of different positions. In 20th, I've went Ipswich. I've went 19th Nottingham Forest and 18th Southampton. I think these will be the relegation teams heading into the new season. You look at Ipswich getting promoted for the first time in, I'm not sure, but it's been quite a while. It's going to be tough, especially heading into a much difficult competition in the Premier League. They done well in the competition last year in the English EFL Cup, but this competition is completely different, man. You're going to be versing hard teams every single week, and I don't know if they have the squad to compete with the bigger teams, even the small teams. I think it's going to be a big task for them to really stay in the Premier League for another season. Nottingham Forest, I think they always have some inconsistency within their season. They have a good form during the 23-24 season last year, but again, towards the end of the season, they really struggled, and that inconsistency is going to really affect them. I think the last 2 years they've stayed in the competition, just scraping it, but I think this is the year they finally drop out into the other division. And Southampton, yeah, look, they've been a solid team in the Premier League for the last 12 years when they've been in it. Last year they got relegated, and I think this year, coming back, they're going to probably surprise a few fans, surprise a few experts, but I don't feel they've got the squad to really stay in the Premier League this year.
Yeah, well, I went the same. Ipswich 20th. I've just went Southampton 19th, where you've went and put them 18th, and I put Nottingham Forest 18. Same reasons to you. I think Ipswich Town, yes, they were good in the EFL, but I feel it's another league. You know, we look at Burnley when they came in, had a perfect season in the EFL, came to Premier League, they came bottom last. So I think that's the same situation with Ipswich. Southampton, newly promoted again. I don't see him doing the best. I think out of, the newly promoted teams, we'll go on the video, but I think Leicester will be the better team. And they have, a good Premier League record, ever since they won that Premier League title. Nottingham Forest, I think this is the year they fall off. They've always been scraping that 17-16 spot. And I feel it's just about time that they miss out on, securing their spot in the next season of the Premier League. So I think Nottingham will finish 18th and, go back down a division.
Moving on to the next positions, we're going to go to 17th to 13th position.
Yeah.
I'm going Wolves in 17th. In Bournemouth, we've got 16th, 15th Leicester, 14th Palace, and Everton 13th. Now, Wolves, I feel I could have put them a bit higher because every single year a lot of fans seem to doubt them. Seem to doubt their team, their performances, and I'm starting to question me putting them that low. But with the likes of Neto leaving to Chelsea this year, that's a really big blow considering how good he's been for them and probably one of their best players at the club. So that's a massive blow, and I think with his departure, they're going to really struggle. Bournemouth, with Solanke now going another move to a North London club in Spurs, I think he's been a key asset to their team. He's the reason why they've been scoring a lot of goals. 17 goals last year, I'm pretty sure, which is outstanding for quality of Solanke, who's played for not the best side in Bournemouth, who did have a good season last year. But still, yeah, without him, I think Bournemouth will struggle. Leicester City, newly promoted side. Look, ever since, like you mentioned, winning the Premier League, they've been such a big club, going to the Champions League. They've been performing, getting European football, but last year, when they got relegated, it was a big shock. Now they're back into the Premier League. I think they'll be they have enough in the tank to stay in the Premier League for another season. But yeah, Jamie Vardy, he's reaching his retirement age. His time's coming to an end. You've still got a decent enough squad, but I don't feel they have a squad where they're going to compete just like the old days of Leicester City. So that's the reason why I put them 15th. Now Palace, a lot of fans and experts are saying they are the underdogs heading into the new season, especially the way they ended it last year in 23-24 season. Palace, for me, I wish I did put them higher, but I can't change it now. I just feel the reason why I put them this low, is just because of the season every single year where they have good moments in the season, but again, they're going to have terrible moments, losing streaks, and that's why I feel it's going to happen again. Like, they ended the season well, but I just feel that old self of Crystal Palace is going to creep within their squad next season. And Everton 13th. You look at last year, got deducted 10 points. And if it wasn't for that, would have been in 10th position. I feel they could get higher this year. They could be another underdog heading into this year. But 13th, I think, is a fair position.
Yeah, I'm going to start off again. 17th, I went Brentford. I think, they weren't the best last season. The other season, they weren't the best too. So they've started to decline. And, they could be in contention for relegation, in my opinion, this year. I feel Ivan Toney could be his last season at Brentford. I think it's about time he gets his big move away. He's a very top striker. He will score goals, but I don't think it will be enough to, put him high up the ladder. But I still think they'll survive. 16th, Fulham. 15th, Leicester. Fulham, people might be surprised me putting them that low. I don't know. Something's telling me that they're not going to do the best this year. I could be completely wrong. They do have some good players. Marcus Silva's their coach. Another great, coach. He knows what he's doing. Emil Smith-Rowe's brought in. So they could have a good season, but I'm putting him 16 purely based on the fact that I think other teams will do better than him, and I just don't see him, doing the best. Leicester City, newly promoted team, and we've seen a common trend where every year, these past 2 seasons, the newly promoted teams are the ones that get relegated. I think differently this time, Leicester City will remain up. I think they will have a solid season. I think we will see them in the top half, like around 10th for majority of the season, but then I think they'll start to fall off, due to, being new in the Premier League again. 14th, I went Wolverhampton Wanderers. Always there, always going to cause teams struggle. They can get big wins. They've done it against Man City, Chelsea, United. They know how to win, and they know how to remain in 14th place. And yeah, that's why I went them. And 13th, Dominic Solanke, he joins Tottenham Hotspur, which could be a big blow. But I still have hope for Bournemouth. I think they're a very good team. Will Drew team, their coach is fantastic. We can see what he did to them last year.
Still decent squad too.
Decent squad still, and I still think they're going to click, and I think 13th is a good position for them. And I think with the Dominic Solanke leaving, like I would say if Solanke was there, I could have put him a bit higher. But because he's not there, I'm pretty happy where I've put him. So
all right, next 5 position, we're going to go 12th to 8th. In 12th, I've went Fulham. 11th, Brentford. 10th, Brighton. West Ham, 9th, and Aston Villa, 8. Fulham, like you mentioned, they've got a decent squad last year. I think they really improved as opposed to the year before that. Got Emil Smith-Rowe into the squad, and he's going to be a really big player for them this year heading into the new season. I like Marcus Silva, what he's done to Fulham. They're a really attacking team. There's games where they really do lack that quality within their squad. Maybe defensively, they do have a great keeper in Leno, but sometimes defensively, they're not as good as they are when they're attacking. So if they can fix that defense this year, I think they can really cause an upset heading into the season. You look at it last year, they beat Man United, they beat Arsenal. They had a good result against Liverpool, I'm pretty sure, even Spurs. So Fulham are known to, again from last year, are known to beat the big teams and cause upsets. So defensively, like I said, it's a place in the system where they need to improve immediately if they want to stay in the Premier League this year. Brentford 11th, I think last year was a very bad season in the relegation fight, and I think Brentford will be expecting more from Thomas Frank and his side. Ivan Toney, don't think he'll be leaving the club. I think this could be his last year. So if they were to keep Toney, I think Toney, you've got Mbeumo, you've got Wissa. They're still great play defensively. I think they're one of the best defensive side in the competition, especially look at the year before. Not last season, the year before that. They were good defensively, and that's what Thomas Frank is known for. Defensive side, a good structured team, counter, long ball football, and I think that could work for them this year. Brighton, new coach. I think without De Zerbi, it's going to be a massive blow. Yes, they didn't have the best of season last year, but I don't know. I feel they're known for a side that's always competitive, always structured well with Graham Potter and De Zerbi, their 2 previous managers. So I think they're going to have a good season as well. West Ham in 9th. Same with Brentford. They had a bad season last year, lots of bad performances, but it's a season where they have to perform. Yes, they've lost Benrahma, but Bowen needs to step up. He was probably the best player last year for them. I'm not sure if they've got a lot of signings heading into the new season, but
I think they've signed Wan-Bissaka.
But that's a good signing, and their coach is.
They signed. No, they've done well this transfer window. Again, Fulkrug, the striker.
Oh yeah, exactly. I forgot about that, but yeah, he's a great striker. So who knows? Those two additions can really help him, and they've got a new coach. So maybe with David Moyes leaving the club, that could again get a new system, get a new culture around the club. Because David Moyes has been at the club for pretty long right now, and in 8th position, I'm going Villa. You know, without them making Champions League, you look at Newcastle last season, because of their participation in the Champions League, that really affected their performances in the Premier League, and you could see that they didn't have the squad to compete in both competitions, two massive competitions, and you're versing the best teams in the competition, and I feel that's going to happen to Aston Villa this year.
Well, I'm going to go 12th Everton, 11th Brighton, 10th West Ham, 9th Palace, and 8th Tottenham. Quickly to go through it. Everton, they had their point deduction last season. It affected them. They could have finished higher. And I think this year they'll have a steady boat. They'll get some wins. They'll get some losses. And I think Sean Dyche is a good manager. We've seen him with Burnley, where with a Burnley squad like that, he managed to keep them weak every single year, you know, in the Premier League. And I think with Everton, it's a much better squad. Pickford, you know, you got Braithwaite as the centre back. You got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. They've still got a good squad. Yes, they can finish higher, but I remember Everton always finishing the European spot. They were a good, solid team, but they've had this downfall. But now they're slowly coming up the pecking order, and they're starting to find their identity, starting to find, you know, who they want to be, the club they want to be, and how they want to play. So I think 12th, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe midway in the table. 11th, Brighton, with De Zerbi out, they've got a new coach. And we saw Brighton go down a bit last season, especially with European being introduced into their season. They have no European competitions this year, but I still think they won't do the best. I think that Brighton team we saw 2 years ago, we won't see again for a while, maybe... You know, never, because they were an exceptional team. Yes, they can still play good, very good players. You know, Midamar, you know, Pascal Grobe. They've got some very good players. But I don't know. Something's telling me, again, there's other teams that will do better than them. 10th, West Ham United. We have Fulkrug's in, Wan-Bissaka's in. Some good additions. I think their coach is Lopetegui. I can't pronounce it, but the former Real Madrid coach and Spain coach. And yeah, I think West Ham will again be West Ham. You know, they're always in the halfway of the table, and I think they'll just hit 10th. Bowen will be critical for their season. I think Fulkrug's going to be an amazing signing. When he was in the Euros for Germany, very fantastic player, very good, knows what he's doing. He's like an Olivier Giroud. You cross him in, he's going to score. And I think he's going to play a big part. They're going to, you know, try and get back into the Europa Conference League, Europa League. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing better than what I've predicted. Palace 9th, I think they're going to be the underdogs. The way they finished the season last year was exceptional. Very good team. I'm loving what I'm seeing. You know, yes, Elise, was it Elise?
Elise.
He left. Yeah, but Eze's still in the team, and I think Eze's going to carry that team. Mateta in striker. I'm just loving Palace. I really think they're going to have a very good season. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they get a European spot this season, which I would love to see, you know, something different. But yeah, I'm expecting big things for Palace. Tottenham Hotspur in 8. I don't think it's going to be a good season. I think we saw Conte when he was in charge, how he had that blowout at the whole club about how they're not run properly. It's a mentality. And we saw Ange last season about the fans, how they wanted Arsenal to... Yeah. They wanted themselves to lose a match so Arsenal don't win it. And he had to go at the fans. And I think he's going to... More things about Tottenham are going to be exposed to him, and he's going to say this is not the right club, not a big club, no mentality at all. And I think that's going to really affect them. And I just think... You know, Werner's not going to do good. And I don't know. I don't think Tottenham's going to do good. And again, as I mentioned before, other teams will do better than...
Final 7th position, we're going to start from 7th to 1st. In 7th, Chelsea for me. 6th, Tottenham. In 5th, Newcastle. United 4th. Liverpool 3rd. Manchester City 2nd. And Arsenal 1st. Now, you look at Chelsea... again, I still think in preseason they haven't looked exceptional. The signings they're making, the money they've spent, I still feel they should be in a much better position. It's going to take time for the new coach to get used to the club, get used to what he's trying to implement at the club, and bring Chelsea back to where they were. But yeah, I just not vibing Chelsea this year. I still think, like Aston Villa, with their like I mentioned before, them participating in the Champions League, I think that's going to affect them a lot. Chelsea not in any European they are in the Europa League, but I still think they have a squad that...
No, Chelsea, I think...
Are they actually out?
No, Chelsea got out because I think it's either Newcastle or Chelsea. One of them got out because Man United won the FA Cup.
So would that mean they're in the Conference League?
No. One of them missed out completely.
Oh, so if it is Chelsea, I think without European football, then they can really focus...
Sorry, Chelsea's Conference League. I'm pretty sure.
So their Conference League, I think that's a competition they need to be in right now. I think Europa League, they don't deserve to be there yet. I don't think they have this. Well, they do have the squad, but I think they don't deserve to be there right now, even Champions League. So Conference League is the right position for them right now. So yeah, Chelsea 7th, Tottenham 6th. Again, if they were to finish 6th, I still think that's a failure of a season, especially second year for Poch at the club, whatever. He's 6th. Sorry, you just got me confused right now. But yeah, it'll still be a failure of a season for him if he was to finish 6th. I think they're in a position where they need to finish get Champions League, get 4th at least with the squad they have, with the signing they made with Solanke now, which is a big addition to the squad. I feel they missed that striker last year. Son was predominantly on the left side, then towards the end got shifted into the striker role. Then you got Richarlison there. They've got a decent squad, but it's just about the players buying into the project, the fans having the right mentality, like what you mentioned about them before, having that mentality against Arsenal and wanting to lose. And that's something Poch has to fix, and fix that culture immediately. So I think they'll finish 6th. Newcastle 5th. Again, I feel they're going to just miss Champions League again. I think they're ready for a big season, especially after not the best of season last year, very inconsistent. So Eddie Howe, there's pressure on him this year. He's linked to an England job potentially for the next World Cup coming up. So if Newcastle don't perform, I think he's going to be tempted to take the England offer.
Let me go I'll do my 7th and 5th quickly. 7th, Chelsea, for your pure reasons. I think, again, they've got some young players, new coach, and I think, again, they're going to struggle this season. I really do see that. I don't think they're going to have that consistency. If they had Pochettino, I'd still think they'll do better. You know, they stuck with his project, what he wants to do. We would have seen a much better Chelsea, but I think with this new coach coming in, it's a whole new restart again. And again, I still see the same Chelsea from last season, you know, coming into this season. So yeah, I'm not expecting big things for Chelsea. Aston Villa 6. Again, we've seen with Brighton last year, Newcastle last year. When you get European spots, it's a whole new different thing, and it affects you in your league position. And I think Unai Emery and Villa, they're going to try their best to try and sneak into the Champions League, but I don't think this year they will. I think they're going to fall off. They're going to get fatigued, tired. Players not going to get used to playing these sort of matches every single week. And yeah, it's going to take a toll on them. So I'm going to go Aston Villa 6. And in 5th now, Manchester United, I've put them 5th. But now there's rumours saying that, you know, we've signed De Ligt and Maruri from Bayern. And now that could, you know, change my thing. Maybe we can get top 4 this time. But I think Man United will finish 5th. As much as it hurts me, I think already with Højlund out, Lenny Yora out, it feels like we're going to have that same sort of season with injuries. And I hope that's not the case. And I'm usually optimistic heading into seasons. You know, top 4 last year, predicting them 4th, but they didn't. And I want to be realistic. I think there's other teams that might finish on top of us because they're more ahead in their project. You know, we had the biggest delay last year. Yes, we won the FA Cup. But yeah, Man United 5th, but I hope we get top 4.
Well, I've mentioned already my top 4. Man United 4th. I think they're going to have a much better season last year. Pre-season, you've been pretty decent, I'd say. You've had a few injuries again in Højlund, but I think they should be ready for the start of the season. Yeah, United, I think it's a big season for them, man, especially such a poor season last year. Of course, you won the FA Cup, which is a big boost, but you've won the Carabao Cup, you've won the FA Cup. Yes, it's good in a way, but in the Premier League, you haven't been performing to the standard where you should be. Look at Liverpool, they've been doing it consistently. Arsenal in recent years have been doing well. Man City, just United are missing something. And I feel their midfield is good. I feel Casemiro is a great CDM, but I think it's time to move on from him. I think he didn't experience a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah, but he did. He wasn't the best. He's been dropped off a bit, but hopefully we see he was good in the Community Shield. There was some sort of control in him, so who knows? He can step up this season.
I just feel you need Bruno Fernandes. I think he's a great
Best player.
playing there. Mainu will be starting for sure next year. I just feel you're missing one more world-class midfielder in there. Maybe one more attacker. I think Højlund is good, don't get me wrong, but I feel Højlund was... I think he could have been better last year. And now, this season, once again, it's another big season for Højlund. And if he doesn't step up, you start to question, is he the striker that United need? In third position, I'm going Liverpool. I really like what Slot has been doing for the club. Pre-season, what I've been hearing, that they've been exceptional. Salah's looking back to his best. Jota is always clinical up front. So Szoboszlai, is that? Yeah, he's been performing well. So Liverpool do have a good squad. Last year, failed to win the Premier League. Didn't win any. They've won the Carabao Cup last year. So it's a big year. They need some major trophy next year, whether it's the Champions League or the Premier League, whatever. They need one. They cannot go any steps backwards this year. They need a big trophy, and with Slot, I think he's the right man. Klopp has built an incredible culture, a great system at the club, and with that culture that has been running perfectly for the last 6 years, he can really continue and bring success once again to Liverpool.
Yeah, I'll go fourth. I went Liverpool. Arne Slot. I think, you know, Liverpool will do good. Very good players around the park, and I think if you got good players, you're always bound to do good. And yeah, I think Liverpool will have a good season. I think Salah will, you know, he'll step up again once again, assist goals. Alexander-Arnold, if he doesn't go to Madrid, I see him having another big season. He's due one. It's been an up and down season for him, you know, for at least a couple of seasons. But, you know, we got to see the trend that we've seen many years ago. I hope we don't, because, you know, he can be a real threat, especially as a United fan. But yeah, Liverpool will get Champions League once again. I think they're more consistent and they know how to win games. They have that culture that Jurgen Klopp has built into this team, and that's what's going to help them grow and develop. And it gives Arne Slot, you know, some breathing space. You know, you're taking over, yes, a great manager, but he's laid the foundations, and all you got to do is just keep on building on that. And Arne Slot, he has the capability of doing it. You can see what he did with
He does look good. And there was a moment during the game in preseason where they beat you guys 3-0. And AGT from, what's it called?
AGT from Liverpool.
AGT from Liverpool. Yeah. He said, in the press conference, they said, are you happy with the performance? And he wasn't happy, even though they won 3-0. Yeah. So that's the mentality that Liverpool fans would want from their coach.
Yeah, and again, Arne Slot should do good. You made me forget my point. But third, Newcastle United. I think they'll do good. I think they're in for an exceptional season. I really think that without no Champions League, no European football, they're going to hit their best again. What we saw 2 seasons ago, and I'm expecting massive things from Newcastle. Eddie Howe, such a great manager. Isak's going to be on form once again. Anthony Gordon with the assist. They have such a good team. Tonali's back into the squad. It's going to be a massive boost for them. Newcastle United, I really think it's going to be a big season. They'll challenge for the title. I really think they're going to, you know, be the underdogs in this season. And we saw it 2 seasons ago. Yes, last season, as I said, Champions League affects many teams who are new to it, and it affected them. Yeah. Many injuries affected them as well. Hence why they dropped down the ladder. But this season, Newcastle's going to be a massive threat, and I see them going, you know, doing wonders this season.
Well, my top 2 is Man City in second and Arsenal first. I feel this is the year Arsenal win the league. It has to be. The last 2 years, just missing it out on the last final days of the season, and there's a what's it called in history-wise tells us that every time Manchester City have won a Community Shield, they don't win the league, and every time they don't win it, they actually win the league. But I'm not going to look in that too much. But Arsenal, I feel we're ready. The preseason we've been well focused, well drilled. Signed Calafiori. Now Moreno is probably the next player signing. I still feel we need a decent striker, a decent attacker, whether it's an attacker, a striker, or a winger. I feel Havertz and Jesus will be the strikers heading into the season. So I think there's heavy rumours that we're linked with Kingsley Coleman on a possible loan at Bayern Munich. So any attacker player I feel we need, because that's the position we've been lacking last year. You look at the start of the year, we weren't scoring enough goals. Towards the end, we were scoring goals. Just the form we're on was incredible. And I just feel we're ready. There's something about this team. It's crying out to me that it's a year we're winning the league. And Man City, they're not going to drop off. They signed a few players now. De Bruyne could be his last year at the club, so maybe that could be another motivation for them to win the title. Edison is staying at the club. But yeah, it just, inside of me, last year I said that Man City will win the league. And this year, I'm saying Arsenal winner.
Yeah.
I'm very confident heading into this year.
I agree with you. I'm going City second, Arsenal first. I think just Arsenal are bound to win the Premier League. They need to win it. Like, there's no other year than this year. Yes, they fell short twice, but this has to be year. Third time, they have to go for it. And I think Man City will still be at their best. Haaland's going to smash it. De Bruyne, again, he has that motivation, that drive. This could be his last season at City. He wants that, that 5th Premier League title in a row. But again, I just see Arsenal... With the signing of Calafiori, they're getting Moreno from Real Sociedad. He's going to be a crucial signing for them. That's that missing piece they need. A very good player, and he smashed it in the Champions League last season. And Arsenal need to win it. There's no questions asked. They got to keep on building what they built last season and the previous year before, and just try not choke, try not lose games, drop points. They just need to be perfect, because if they are perfect, they will get City. And again, those crucial games at Etihad and Emirates are going to define it. So, yeah, I'm going Arsenal first and Man City second. Just to quickly wrap up the predictions video, just go through quick predictions of golden boot and all that. So I'm gonna go golden boot Erling Haaland.
Yeah, Erling Haaland for sure, man. Just he's too good. Probably Salah would compete with him. Isak has a big shout this year. Injuries cost him, and he still scored a lot of goals towards the end of the season. But Haaland, just because he plays for City, he's a goal scorer, man. And it's a no-brainer, man.
I think it's very hard to go against Haaland. Playmaker of the year, I'm going Bukayo Saka. I really think he's gonna score goals, but I really think this year he's gonna get a lot of assists. I don't know why. Just the first thing that popped in my brain, I think Saka, he's been growing every single year, being Arsenal's best player, probably one of the most consistent players in the Premier League. And I think this year, if Arsenal's going to win the league, he's going to be the most creative one.
Yeah, and talking about that, I think that Martin Odegaard will finally get Playmaker of the Year. He joined the club 2 years ago when he permanently signed for the club. You could see he had that attacking thrive and that vision in the game, but he wasn't getting a lot of assists. Last year he did. He got 10 assists, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 10 assists last season, but I think this is the year he's really developed in the last 3 years, especially playing in such a big league, competing with the best teams with Man City and Liverpool. And he's really grown as a player, he's grown as a captain, and the passes he's been making in pre-season specifically has been outstanding, man. He has not lost form. Normally when you go into pre-season, it takes time for you to go in form. Last year he started the season slow, but Martin Odegaard is ready this year, and I think he'll be Playmaker of the Year.
Manager of the Year, I think both simple. Arteta. If they're going to win the league, he's going to get it. Underdogs, explaining my the ladder prediction, Crystal Palace.
I'm going Brentford. I said it before, I'm not going to explain it too much, but yeah, the season they had last year was bad. They need to step up this year, and just, again, that poor season last year should motivate them to try and get European football next year.
Signing of the year, I'm going to go Dominic Solanke. I think great signing, that's officially confirmed. He's going to do wonders for Spurs. I think if you got Son feeding him from behind, if he can score goals for Bournemouth, so many goals, he can score so many goals for Spurs. So I'm going Dominic Solanke.
My signing of the year, I'm going for Emil Smith-Rowe. Just this kid, man, it's upsetting the way he left the club. You know me, how much of a fan I'm of Emil Smith-Rowe. He's been one of my favourite players for the club for the last 3 years, especially during that period in lockdown and even 21-22 season, I'm pretty sure. Or 22-23, one of them. He was outstanding. Like, the amount of times he came on, 3 games in a row, coming from the bench in the last 10 minutes, scoring a goal. During the most difficult times for the club with Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe, he was just outstanding, and just I'm so grateful that I've watched him as an Arsenal fan, seeing him grow as a player, man. I just feel at Fulham it's the right club, and I feel his style suits the club. Very attacking football. He scored his first goal in pre-season, a great header, by the way. So yeah, it's a big blow for Arsenal, but yeah, hopefully he gets Player of the Year.
Final two, flop Player of the Year, I'm going Darwin Núñez. I think this is a season where we might see him the last time in a Liverpool jersey. I think why I'm saying this, I think because Diogo Jota is always on the bench, and he's such a great player. When he plays, he scores, he assists, he does everything. And I think Darwin Núñez, he just misses a lot of chances, as we all know. So I think he starts the season bad, and then Jota comes in, or even Jota might be in the plans of already starting. So I really rate Jota. I think him and Gakpo are better players, and I think especially Josh, I think he's going to take his spot. And I think, Darwin Núñez is not going to have a good season.
Well, I've chosen James Maddison. Last year, he started the season very strong. Got a few goals, few assists. Then injuries kicked in, and he really struggled to find his form. This year, I'm feeling the same vibe, man. Like you said, you feel if Spurs are going to struggle this year, if they're not going to have the best season, I feel Madison's going to be a part of that poor squad and maybe poor season if that was to happen. I don't know, if injuries creep in, it could be a really big, terrible season for James Maddison. He's got quality, a great finisher, a great playmaker. You look at his time at Leicester City. He showed glimpses during the start of last year, but I don't feel he's going to have a good year this year.
Okay, finally, flop team of the year, Tottenham.
Did I say Tottenham?
You said Tottenham too.
So Tottenham.
So Google's predictions will be on the screen right now. Their ladder predictions. And we'll also give you guys on the screen right now, it's the Google's prediction of what we've just went through. Golden Boot, champions, playmaker, manager of the year, etc. So it'll be all on the screen. And also the graphics of our predictions will be at the end of this video. So, it was a great chat for our Premier League predictions. Can't wait. Kicks off this week. And, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.